Imagine you invest millions into a 3-star Michelin restaurant. Interior, perfect. Marketing, done. Bookings, full. But there's one fatal flaw. The star chef, the one person who holds the recipes in his head, suddenly says, "I'm leaving, and I'm taking the menu and the sous chefs with me." That is the nightmare of every investor. Because in manufacturing, if the factory manager quits, the factory still runs. The system owns the know-how. But in restaurants and in entertainment, the asset walks out the door every night as the chefs go home for a good night's sleep. And that's why today's story matters. The HYBE versus Min Hee-Jin war, plus the NewJeans fallout. Looks like a celebrity drama on the surface, but underneath, it is a corporate fight over one fear: the key man risk. A business where people are everything becomes a business where contracts gets ugly. Welcome to the Coup Report on Korea. Let's dive in. Before we talk about contracts and court rulings, we need to understand one thing. Min Hee-Jin isn't just an executive. In K-pop, she is closer to a star chef than a manager. She came from SM Entertainment, and from 2002 to 2019, she was basically one of the key people who defined what the K-pop golden era looked like. The visual language, the album artwork, the music video mood, the styling concept, the whole package. Let's take a look at her legacy. Girls' Generation, SHINee, FX, EXO. She led visual directing across eras. Album art, music video direction, concept design. Iconic moments that became K-pop templates. SHINee's color skinny jeans. Girls' Generation's white shirt plus jean styling for G. And the military look for Tell Me Your Wish. EXO's school uniform concept. And here's what matters in the key man risk story. Min Hee-Jin is one of those rare people who climbed up from regular employee to registered executive director. A self-made trajectory inside the most competitive label in Korea. 2019, she moved to HYBE to oversee branding, and later she becomes the person tied to ADOR and the creation of NewJeans. In other words, HYBE wasn't dealing with a replaceable manager. They were dealing with a person whose taste was the product. Now, what is ADOR? ADOR stands for All Doors, One Room. It was founded in November 2021, and this matters. It was the first label HYBE established as a fully independent subsidiary. Why would HYBE do that? This is because Min Hee-Jin demanded something very specific when she joined. Complete independence in both production and management. No HYBE color, no HYBE interference. Just one goal: build the girl group she had in her head. Perfectly, without compromise. So HYBE didn't just hire a producer. They literally built her a separate kitchen, a standalone label, a protected zone. A room where she could cook her signature dish. That dish was NewJeans. And NewJeans didn't debut like a normal group. On July 22, 2022, ADOR dropped the attention on YouTube out of nowhere. No typical teaser rollout. No member-by-member reveal. Just, here's the music video. Deal with it. Then on August 1st, 2022, the official debut release followed. And the business result? ADOR's numbers basically became a before and after story. In 2022, ADOR reported a revenue of $13.3 million. During this initial launch phase, the label operated at a loss, posting an operating deficit of $2.9 million. However, the shift in 2023 was seismic. Revenue surged to $78.7 million. More importantly, the bottom line swung from a deficit to significant operating profit of $23.9 million. This is why the HYBE versus Min Hee-Jin conflict can't be read like a normal corporate dispute. Because ADOR wasn't just a label, it was a custom-built system designed to maximize one person's creative control and one group's cultural impact. Which brings us to what happened next. Let's check out the facts. This battle wasn't fought over feelings. It was fought over money and control. HYBE gave Min Hee-Jin, the CEO of ADOR, a massive put option. A put option is essentially a guaranteed right to sell your shares back to the company at a fixed price. Basically, a preset exit button to cash out your success. The price for the exit was tied to performance. Specifically, the valuation was set at 13 times ADOR's average operating profit. Given the label's explosive trajectory, she stood to make roughly 100 billion won, or about $75 million. It was a jackpot. But the contract had teeth. Min Hee-Jin called it a slave contract. She held about 18% of the shares, but the contract stated that she could not sell the last 5% without HYBE's consent. And here's the kicker. The non-compete clause, which bans her from working for any other competitor, it only expires after she sells all her shares. So basically, if HYBE refuses to let her sell that last 5% share piece, she is theoretically banned from the industry forever. To be fair, even if she only cashed out that initial 13%, we're talking about a payday of roughly $70 million. By any standards, that is a life-changing, massive fortune. The conflict exploded in May 2024 when HYBE launched a surprise audit on ADOR. They alleged that Min Hee-Jin was plotting a coup to seize management rights and take the company independent. The evidence HYBE presented was explosive, internal KakaoTalk logs between Min and her top executives. In these chats, they reportedly discussed the plan to turn ADOR into an empty shell. The strategy was allegedly to drive down the company's value and induce NewJeans to terminate their contracts, effectively stripping the label of its only asset so it could be repurchased cheap. HYBE further alleged that Min had met with private investors, global sovereign wealth funds, to secure the financial backing needed to pressure HYBE into selling its holding stake of ADOR. HYBE tried to fire her for breach of trust, claiming she plotted to take the company independent. However, at that time, the court made a very interesting historic ruling. It is clear she sought to betray HYBE, but it is not clear she committed breach of trust. Basically, the court concluded that while she had planned a coup in her head and discussed it with her chats, she had not actually executed a criminal act that caused tangible financial damage to the company yet. It was a typical case of intent versus execution battle. She had betrayed the owner, but she had not yet robbed the kitchen, so she kept her job. The real climax began in November 2024. After months of tension, the members of NewJeans made a high-stakes move. They officially filed for an injunction to terminate their exclusive contracts with ADOR, citing a fundamental breakdown of trust and systematic mistreatment from HYBE and ADOR. To signal their independence, they even began using the name NJZ instead of NewJeans, attempting to distance themselves from the HYBE-controlled brand. They wanted to follow Min Hee-Jin. They wanted their freedom. HYBE's response was immediate and aggressive. They filed a counter-injunction to block the members from engaging in any independent entertainment activities, effectively freezing the group's career. For nearly a year, the industry stood still, waiting for the court to decide, is a K-pop contract an unbreakable bond, or can an artist walk away when the relationship sours? On October 30, 2025, the legal hammer finally fell. The court ruled entirely in favor of ADOR and HYBE, dismissing NewJeans' request for an injunction. The court's logic was cold. While the relationship was strained, the legal grounds for termination had not been met. NewJeans lost the first round, but this was not just a legal defeat, it was a financial one too. This is where the penalty clause, the golden handcuffs of K-pop, came into play. The structure of a standard K-pop penalty is brutal in its simplicity. According to the Fair Trade Commission standard contract form, if an artist breaks the deal early, they must pay a penalty calculated as the average monthly revenue of the past 2 years of the group multiplied by the remaining months in the contract. Based on ADOR's performance through 2023 and 2024, the group's average monthly revenue is estimated at roughly $7.1 million to $8.6 million. With about 5 years or 60 months remaining on their original contracts, the math for an early exit becomes impossible. The total projected penalty for the group was estimated to be between $300 to $400 million. When you divide that among the members, it breaks down to over $70 million or up to $85 million per person. Yes, these wonderful ladies are probably rich than average, but $70 to $80 million is an impossible amount of money for young artists to pay. Facing bankruptcy, 2 members returned immediately. The remaining 3 tried to hold out, but eventually they had to surrender. The coup ended not with independence, but with a harsh reality check. You can be right emotionally and still be broke legally. And just as we thought the dust might settle, we received a final shocking update. On December 29, 2025, ADOR officially announced the termination of its exclusive contracts with Danielle. While other members like Hani and Minji reportedly returned to the label after months of negotiations, ADOR concluded that it was difficult for Danielle to continue as an artist under their management. The fallout is already turning into a legal nightmare. ADOR has filed a massive lawsuit against Danielle, her family, and Min Hee-Jin, seeking $31 million or 43.1 billion Korean won in damages and penalties. Just a few days after, on January 12, 2026, Danielle broke her silence in an emotional live stream. She stated, "I fought until the very end to be with the members, and told fans that this is not the end, but the beginning." The group that once redefined K-pop is now fractured. Whether Danielle will successfully pivot as a solo artist, or if this legal battle will consume her career, is a story that is unfolding as I speak. We'll have to keep a close watch on the headlines to see how this high-stakes fallout finally ends. Why did it have to be this messy? Why do K-pop companies fight so dirty? Let's go back to the chef analogy. HYBE is the restaurant owner who paid for the kitchen. Min Hee-Jin is the celebrity chef. NewJeans are the signature dishes. If the chef says, "Those dishes are mine," and tries to open next door with the same team, the owner doesn't have the luxury to be nice. They have to sue. Not because they're evil, but because they are cornered. In manufacturing, the system is the asset. Even if the developer of 불닭볶음면 quits, the machines keep running and the recipe stays. CEO changes, the ramen still tastes the same. That's what I call the assetization of the system. What about K-pop? If the producer leaves, the flavor of the next album is not guaranteed. If the artist leaves, the factory stops functioning. Here, the machines have feelings, egos, and fandoms. So companies do something extreme. They try to bind a human with legal engineering. That's why the contracts feel so dirty. Because they're not binding a process, they're trying to bind a soul. HYBE tried additional measures to solve the key man risk by creating a multi-label system. They wanted to prove that the system is more important than the person. They wanted to show that even if Min Hee-Jin leaves, the factory can keep running. But this saga proved that in K-pop, human capital is still more powerful than any system. We've looked at the war between the owner and the chef. We've seen how HYBE tried to build a system, and how Min Hee-Jin tried to break it to protect her creative independence. We've seen how NewJeans tried to follow, but failed because of the terrifying price tag of breaking contracts with HYBE. NewJeans is trapped not just by HYBE, but by the very system that built the K-pop industry to protect against the key man risk. But here is the final takeaway. Winning a contract is not the same as winning a person. A company can use legal engineering to protect its investment, but they cannot use it to force creativity, passion, or the magic that fans fall in love with. In a business where the assets go home to sleep every night, there must be a balance. If you lean too hard on the law and ignore the human heart, you might find yourself owning a perfect contract for an artist who no longer wants to sing. In the end, HYBE kept the brand, but they may have lost the soul of the group. Thanks for watching the Coup Report on Korea. I'm Coup, and I'll see you in the next report.